You're listening to She's the Business podcast.
What do you do when you're at capacity with your one-to-one service, but you really want to grow your business more? You want to grow more revenue? Well, this is a question that so many service providers have, and that's why I've dedicated this episode to talking about ways that you can turn your one-to-one service into a one-to-many online product, which is just one of the ways that you can look at increasing revenue in your business. So let's dive into this episode today and explore why you might want to do this. What are the different ways that you can change your service into a product or add to your existing offering with a new way for people to buy from you? And what are the sort of key success factors and the pitfalls that you want to most avoid when you're doing this? Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm your host, Jessica Osborne, and in my 23 years of business and marketing, I've built many brands to become multi-billion-dollar companies. And just in the last 10 years, I've built 2 online businesses of my own from my dining room table with 2 little babies running around at my feet. I've made it my mission to inspire you to get out of your own way and become the successful business owner who's living the lifestyle you really desire without all the hustle. This is She's the Business podcast, made by women for women. This is your weekly dose of motivation and inspiration.
Okay, today we are talking all about what you can do when you've got a one-to-one service and you want to add some new revenue streams, or you want to add more revenue to your business without making it hard, without making it more difficult. How can you grow that revenue when you're at capacity? And this is a problem so many of us face when we have a one-to-one service, because the key factor in that is that it's based on our time. And there's only so much time that we have in a day, in a week. So we can't just keep on adding more clients and get more revenue because, you've got to sleep, you've got to live life, you have to do other things as well. So one of the ways that we can look at adding more revenue is through changing your one-to-one service offering into a one-to-many offering. Now, you might be wondering, what are the other ways? Let's just quickly touch on those before we dive into all about turning your one-to-one service into a one-to-many product. Now, of course, one of the simplest and easiest ways you can add more revenue without adding more time or more resources, anything like that, is simply to look at your pricing. And that's usually the very first step that I take people through in Business Jam is let's just look at what you've got. Do we have any obvious ways that we can actually just shift your pricing, maybe the way you're packaging your services, and get more revenue for the time that you're spending? So without adding more hours. In fact, I usually look to see, can we even reduce the amount of hours that you are spending in your business? Is there a smarter way to be doing this? So that would be number one. That's pretty easy. You can do that. Literally change the number. How easy is that? The second way would be, I guess a lot of service providers think when they get to a certain point and they're at capacity, the way to expand and get more revenue is to add more people to the business. So grow your team, the team who are providing the service. Now, that is certainly a strategy that we look at as well. I'd like to say that would be something I would look at even a bit further down the track, because one of the main reasons for potentially looking at different ways to change up your offering and to create something that has more scalability, ability to add more clients without needing more resource, just means that we can flex that growth lever before your business grows too burdensome. So when we add team too quickly, and by team, I'm meaning people who are going to provide the service, not people who are supporting you in delivering your service. So absolutely have some support there with VAs, things that you want to outsource, whether it's your bookkeeping, all of the stuff that kind of takes your time away in the background and is non-revenue generating, then by all means have that support. But when we're looking at revenue generating people, we want to be really careful about, how much we bring them in versus what then it's taking our business to manage the extra people. So we want to be at a rate where we're adding somebody in to deliver a service and the amount of revenue and profit that you're getting is also growing, because often what happens when we grow a team is that it creates more unpaid, unbillable time, we'll call it. Time that you can't bill to clients because it's management time. It's time managing the business, managing the team. Your time goes away from being income producing and goes into driving the team. Now, of course, that's how pretty much every business in the world has that. That's absolutely fine to be doing that. We just want to look at, is there a smarter way to grow revenue now before you look at doing that expansion out? Because while it might bring in more revenue to have more service providers in your business, your profit margin gets smaller because obviously now you're needing to pay yourself for the time that you're managing them. They've got a certain amount of hours that they can work as well. So you still have a capacity ceiling at some point. Even if you add another person, you fill up their time, you'll have a capacity ceiling. So I digress. That's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about how you can look at shifting your one-to-one service offering into a one-to-many product. And you can pretty much do this without adding more hours to your day, without adding more resource, more team required. You may need some technology, but really it can be so easy to do. I think we get so hung up on it needing to be something that's, what's the word? That's got all the bells and whistles. It's everything that we see, the really huge leaders out there doing, and forgetting that actually people aren't buying a program because they want a course or because they want a membership or they want some snazzy site or app. They don't really care about any of that. They care about what they get from it. They care about the outcome. So it doesn't need to be big. It doesn't need to be complicated. It can be easy to do. So let's talk about what we can do when you want to take that expertise that you have and give someone a different way that they could consume it. Now, some ideas of what you can do here is, and this will depend on you knowing your ideal customer and also knowing what it is that they are coming to you for. So what is your expertise and what's a way that people would like to consume it that they're not currently doing? So for example, if your service right now is a done for you service, they come to you, you do the work, you produce something for them. So you're working in your expertise. A really easy step from that is to actually show them how to become expert in what you do. So instead of doing it for them, you could coach them on how to do it or teach them how to do it. So that would mean you could look at things like a course, an online course, a group program style where you're actually, doing more than just a course, but you're really supporting them through it. You could also do workshops or masterclasses. That would be paid events. Now you can do these events as online events. They can be paid. It can be really, really easy to do just with your existing technology, nothing special. Of course, you can do in-person events if you want to as well, and they are really effective. They just take a different level of organization because you've got the physical venue and all of those things that you need to factor in. So there are some ideas straight away for if you're doing a one-to-one service, how you might be able to help somebody else learn what you do so they could do it for themselves. Now, you can take this an even further step and say, well, what if they already have some of the skills and they kind of know it, but it's really a time-saving thing, a time-saving reason that they want to hire you, but they'd like a lower budget option. So could you look at creating some time-saving templates for them so that they can DIY without it taking so much time? Maybe that could be done through a membership offering where you provide them with a consistent content that is already done for them that they can lift and use themselves. Then you could even look at, well, maybe I could share my knowledge and my expertise through something like an ebook or a book. Now, that is, let's see how many we've got there. 8 different options straight away of how you can take one-to-one expertise and turn it into a one-to-many offering. Now, you might be asking, what are some of the pitfalls? What should we avoid? And what are the success factors? What makes a good program? Because trust me, there are a lot of online programs, a lot of courses that get created and never see the light of day. And really, I guess when we're looking at that, so what is the success factor of an online program? How do you get one that people actually want to buy? Well, this is definitely about getting very, very clear on exactly who you're creating it for. You might have a really big range of people who could be interested in it, who might want to know that. But if we're not dialed into exactly what this right person is for this particular program, and we haven't, we're not really clearly talking to them about their desire and what that outcome is that they're going to get, it's going to be very, very difficult to sell. So one of the biggest pitfalls is, I guess, thinking of a course or a program and really designing it without a person in mind that you're designing it for. So if you're designing it just based on, well, this is my expertise and this is what I want to share with the world, that's very different to thinking, this is the person I want to help. This is how I can help them, mapping out the steps of what they would need to do in order to be able to do it, and then building that into a program. Often there are some really fantastic people who are great at teaching. They've got amazing content, but they just aren't selling their program because for this key reason. They really haven't tapped into who it is they're talking to. And that means that their messaging, what is being used to promote or sell the program, is a little bit bland, shall we say. It's not landing for the audience because they're really trying to speak to too many people, and often trying to actually sell the program as a thing, like, hey, buy this course. It's however many modules, and you get videos. Like, no one really wants a course. We might like to do a course when it's a great course, when we get an outcome, but how often have you done a course or signed up to something that wasn't that great? You're not thinking, well, great, I just love courses, so that's, tick, I really enjoyed it. You're thinking, well, that didn't really give me the outcome I wanted, so I didn't enjoy that. It's not about the course. It's not about the method that you give them and how they're getting there. They actually are really wanting that outcome. So that is the second pitfall that I've kind of just morphed into from knowing your ideal customer. It's trying to sell the process that you're offering. So sell what it is, if it's a workshop, or sell a course, a membership, whatever it is that you've decided you want to offer, selling that as a thing in the same way that you sell a one-to-one service. Now, when someone is buying your program to learn something, as I just mentioned, they're not after a program. They're not sitting there thinking, gosh, I wish there was a program I could buy. They're thinking, gosh, I wish I knew how to do this, or I wish I could be this, or I wish I could have something. They want the outcome, they want the transformation. And so when you can shift from talking about the thing and trying to sell all of the inclusions in a program and actually just shift to selling your outcome, it's so much more powerful. Think about it this way. If you have toothpaste, for example, they're not selling toothpaste as, wow, look at this great toothpaste that you're going to use every day. And, you'll use it every day and it'll fight all of these different things. They're saying you're going to have white teeth. We're buying the thing that will give us white teeth. We're not buying the process of getting there. We don't really want to know that it's going to take us 8 weeks. If we could have the magic pill and it would be there tomorrow, then that would be ideal, wouldn't it? So we're really looking at the outcome. And we can do exactly the same thing when we're looking at your online programs, your digital programs or offerings. What is it that they're going to get from it, not what it is itself? Because we would all rather choose something that's less than more, but we will do the thing that's more if that's what gets us the outcome. So we need to believe in the outcome before we're ever going to buy a program. What are the other key success factors? And the third pitfall to avoid, or maybe the third success factor, would be to start talking about it before you've even got it all created. So many people I see sitting there waiting until they've got this absolutely perfect program, they've got everything set up and working, it's all finished, before they even start marketing it. And then it gets frustrating, it becomes something that can be really hard to even finish because you'll always find something else that you want to do. So it's never going to feel quite ready to put out to the market if you're waiting for it to be perfectly complete. What I tend to show my clients what to do or how to do this is to figure out the framework, figure out the stages, the phases, whatever it is that you're creating, and do the marketing for it first. So you're talking to your audience, you're getting feedback, you're getting validation of what this program is going to be, and usually getting somebody who's putting up their hand saying, yes, I'll join the wait list, or I'm interested, pop me on the list, well before you've even created it, which obviously gives you a nice timeline to work to, because when you know that you've got something that somebody wants, it's a lot easier to prioritize some time into getting that ready to start. It doesn't need to be fully complete. You can absolutely build it as you go. And there's so many great ways of doing that. In fact, it's the way that I tend to enjoy launching most of my programs is to come up with the concept and promote it, see if anybody wants it. And when they do, then I go in and I build it, I map it out and do the actual work to put it together. So what I do is I create the concept, I put it out there, I market it, and then once I have people who are interested, then I get busy on creating the content and accepting them in there, putting it live. So it makes it much easier, much faster, and you know that you're working on something that people actually want versus creating something that isn't going to be what they're after. Now, as I said before, the first two critical factors can have a big impact on that, and that is being very clear about who it's for and having something super specific. And then talking about the outcome versus selling what the thing is. So when you're doing both of those, and then you're also creating that marketing for it, you're popping it out there, you're sharing it with your audience before you've even created the program, you have got the highest chance of finding success with it, with your one-to-many digital product. Tripping over my words today. So there are many other factors that go into this. Yes, we want to choose the right pricing. We want to have technology that works. There's your runway into when you launch your program. There's a lot of different ways that we can use to leverage this opportunity to obviously optimize it to make it even more successful. But if you're doing the basics, then you will definitely be finding that this is a really easy way to add something into your business that doesn't take a lot of time or effort. It's literally something very similar that is ideally there for your existing ideal customer. So your existing audience, your existing clients have now a different way that they can buy from you, which is what makes this such a smart way to do it. And as I said at the beginning, this doesn't need to turn into a huge big course. It doesn't need to be something that you think is enormous. You could just start off with something really simple that you've already got available. Maybe it's your own design that you have, and you can just turn that into a template and sell it to somebody so that they can DIY. Super, super simple. Takes a little bit of time in creating this digital product, but once you have it created, you can sell it multiple times without it taking your time, obviously, in the service delivery. So I hope I've given you some really great inspiration today about what it is that you could do to turn your one-to-one service offering into a one-to-many online product, and maybe even if it's in person, if you're doing an event, but a way that you can share your expertise with others and be paid for it in a fun way that's also scalable. So one of my favorite things that I do with my business and with my clients is to look at how we can have smart revenue and profit increases, because this type of revenue stream has a sort of a set cost base, but your profit margins grow and grow the more you can sell people into it. So when we can fine tune it, when we can optimize how you're getting people in, how you're selling it, and increase the volume, then of course it's just the profit that is going up, which is what makes it so exciting. So let me know what your thoughts are when you've heard this episode. If you've got some feedback, if you've got questions, drop me a review. Would love to hear it. And thank you so much for tuning in today. You've been battling with your niche for many years, and you know that you could define it better. You're just not sure how, and you keep on getting stuck on how you can be more specific and how you can really find that place that is the right spot for you. How to choose, I guess, the right niche for yourself. Absolutely. Really good question. Well, then I invite you to look at my short course. It's called Know Your Niche. In literally over a weekend, you can get that done. You can define your niche, and next week you can be clear about exactly what it is that you're doing in your business, who it is that you're most wanting to attract, how you can speak to them, how you can make sure your service offering is aligned to them, and build your marketing plan to attract them, to connect with them. Now, Know Your Niche is usually a $297 program. If you head to my website right now at jessicaosborne.com/niche and put in code 50, I will take 50% and you can pay 50%. So we can go halves in the Know Your Niche program as my gift for you for listening to my podcast. Thank you for listening in. And you can get started with your niche definition, really break through some of those barriers and get clear on what it is that you want to be doing, what you want to be known for, who you're wanting to work with, so that you can be more clear, have faster growth and stand out above the rest as a credible authority in your space. So head to jessicaosborne.com/niche to get clear on how you know your niche right now.